Good evening. My name is Allison Cairuz. I am the proud parent of Louis Jeremiah. I refer to him as Jeremiah in the home, so throughout the video I will call him Jeremiah. I would like to talk about my journey with Big Brother Big Sisters. Now, I don't say my story because it's not a story, it's a journey. And it's been an amazing journey. My son, Jeremiah, who's now 16, has been involved for 3 years. Actually, it was like his 13th birthday gift, meeting his match. 1 week prior to his birthday, we met Jonathan. And Jonathan is an amazing person. Now, when I signed up with Big Brother Big Sister, I was very detailed on what I was looking for. And it took a while for them to make the match. But that's okay, because they picked the perfect person. And God knew who he had in mind when he presented us with Jonathan. Jonathan has been that person I expected him to be. And I couldn't be more prouder of my son admiring Jonathan the way he does. Jonathan has been a role model to Jeremiah, and I couldn't ask for more. And what made me go into Big Brother Big Sisters to begin with was when my son was 12 years old, right when he turned 12, I started looking at his teen years in my mind. And I wanted to make sure that he didn't fall into the wrong hands or the wrong crowd. So I thought ahead, and I came across the sign that said Big Brothers Big Sisters. And it kind of caught my attention immediately because I was kind of looking for somebody just that, but I didn't know a big brother. I always thought a mentor. And of course that's what they are, but a big brother. So I called them and I asked a few questions, and I liked what I heard, so I immediately enrolled my son. They came to my home. They gave us the interview, and I was very specific on what I wanted. And my specifications were I need somebody who had ADHD as a child. Why? Because my son has ADHD. Over the years, I've worked very, very hard with my son to make sure he overcame most of his struggles before he reaches adulthood. It's been a long battle, yes it has, but it's been well worth it throughout the journey. My son is a very respectful, kind boy. I raised him in an environment where nothing was ever hostile. I always gave him the best I can give him. I've always been there for him, and I made sure I was his voice throughout this journey. But I wanted to make sure that as my son entered his teen years, that person who had ADHD as a child, was able to connect with my son and share some stories, and both of them on the same wavelength of, how to overcome certain things and how to deal with certain things, and, all of that good stuff. So I wanted to plant a strong foundation, which I've done as a child, but it's a different chapter when a child reaches their teen years. So I wanted that foundation strong. And I feel that what we received from Big Brother Big Sister has done just that. My boy is very well grounded. Yeah, he has his struggles, of course, but we work on it every day. I'm a mom who's very involved. Right there on the drop of a dime. Teacher calls me, I'm right there. I don't waste time. I don't let things go. We address them immediately as a family. And I have my brothers who are involved. I have my his ex stepdad who's involved. And there's a lot of people who get to my son's ears. But Jonathan plays a very important role. And Jonathan plays that outsider. Though he's an insider now, but he was the outsider. And meaning he was this person who came into my son's life and has, number one, earned his trust and earned his confidence, to be able to talk to. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an outsider to be involved with my son, because kids, as normal, they'll talk to people outside more than the inside, especially with mom. Though Jeremiah is very open with me, we have an awesome relationship. He tells me everything. Even if he's going to get in trouble for it, he tells me it. He accepts the consequences, and I admire him for that. Now, moving a little forward. Unfortunately, this year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That's my pin. that's what I am. I'm blessed. I'm here. And it was extremely hard for my son in the very beginning. I made sure I had everybody lined up to talk to him before I told him. I made sure Jonathan knew. And again, I had every single day a different person calling my son, Jonathan being the first. And when I told my son, he cried. He cried all night. Of course, I cried. I mean, my son is everything to me. And for him to have to know this, what his mother's going through, it was very, very, very difficult. But you know what? My son stood up. He stood up for his mother. He did what he had to do. He took care of me. Yeah, he took care of me. He would make sure I didn't go to chemo without eating. He would make sure I was comfortable in my bed the days I had chemo. He learned how to cook. May not be a chef, but he learned how to cook. He would bring me food. Till this day, he comes in my room every single night, and he turns on my humidifier. And he asks me, it's a purifier, I'm sorry, not a humidifier. And he asks me if I need anything, if I'm okay. That's every single night. He tells me I love you before we go to sleep. He's a kid that's an amazing kid. And my heart breaks still today that he has to live with knowing that his mom had cancer, and live with not knowing if something else is going to happen, unfortunately. Right now, I'm cancer free, and I'm planning on staying that way. I'm blessed. But when Jonathan stepped in, Jonathan was that cushion for my son. My son was able to, I guess, cry to Jonathan. I wasn't there, but, I guess to cry to Jonathan, to let his emotions go, and, to let him know how he's feeling. And Jonathan was that cushion. Jonathan was like that therapist for my son. And my son's been on therapy for years, and I stopped it when he was almost 12. He didn't need it anymore. But Jonathan happened to be that therapist at the time my son mostly needed it. Though everybody else was involved and spoke to him, Jonathan, again, has that special place. And it all originated from Big Brothers and Big Sisters organization. They do an amazing job. And to know that strangers come into these children's lives and help them in ways that we never expected. I mean, we imagined, they're going to come in and take the kid out for a little bit, have fun. No. It goes deeper than that. When my son comes back, he comes back with a smile. He enjoys talking to Jonathan. He enjoys the time they're going to spend together. And unfortunately, COVID has damaged a lot of time that they could have spent together. Though they still speak on the phone. And Jonathan, he calls Jeremiah to see how he's doing, and he'll ask me how am I doing, and it's a good thing. It's been a really, really positive journey. Knowing that, there's somebody that my son could actually confide in. Somebody who, if he's feeling down, or if he has a question, or if he has a doubt, that, Jonathan may be the one to give him the answer. And, Jonathan just graduated from law school, which I told him I'm extremely proud of him, and I admire him for what he's done. And I'm so glad that he is my son's, one of his role models in life. And his dream has always been to be an NBA player. But we've instilled in his brain that maybe the NBA will never pick you. So you have to think of plan B. And, he chose law. And I asked him why. He said, well, if Jonathan can do it as good as he did, I could do it. And I looked at him and I said, well, you need to want this. It's not something that, yes, it's good that you look up to Jonathan, but it's got to be something you want. And he said, no. How I've seen Jonathan manage his schooling and listen to his stories on what he wants to do, that's what I want to do. And I admire my son for that. And at the end of the day, I got what I wanted with Big Brother, Big Sister. I got somebody who my son can confide in, somebody who's going to give my son a good walk down the path and give him positive, input into his brain, and be that person, again, that outsider that is changing a kid's life. And I couldn't ask for more. And to know that I have him And again, I have brothers, and I have, there's lots of male role models in the family, but we hold Jonathan as a special one. And we thank you, Jonathan. We really do. And big brothers, big sisters, we thank you. And with that being said, I would like to present my special, loving boy, Louis Jeremiah. Thank you.